Hi, Armored Pants here, and I have another video for you in the Japanese line. It's the Tier 5 premium tank, the Chinu Kai, and we have a complete guide for you as always, and we look at the tech spec using blitzhanger.com. Now, this is a variation of the Chinu, which is the Tier 5 tech line tank in the Japanese tree, and we actually have a review of the Chinu on channel 2 if you want to have a look at that. Now, let me just say that this is a dog of a tank. It's total poo. I cannot stand it. I mean, Wargaming were selling this and it is just a dog. And it is so inferior to its tech line equivalent, which is an average tank at best anyway. This thing is just a dog of a thing. Why is it so bad? Well, we'll get on to that in a second. It's called a Chinu Kai, by the way, but if you have the special camo, it's called Shinobi. So, but the two tanks are the same. The only difference is the camo. So, in case you're wondering what the difference is. Now, it has 75mm gun as the Chinu does, the tech line. But they've taken away the gun depression that the Chinu has, which is 10 degrees, and they've only given this 6.5. So basically, they've taken away one of the best features of the Chinu, which kind of makes me wonder how in God's green earth is this an actual premium tank. This thing has heavy tank speed, by the way. It's clunky. It feels like you're driving in mud or treacle. And there are some heavies that are just as fast as, like a VK3001H is just as fast as this thing. It's as maneuverable as well. So basically you've got heavy tank maneuverability with medium tank armour. As you can see, it has no armour whatsoever. You may get lucky and get some bounces, but if you do, that's down to RNGesus. It's not down to anything to do with the tank itself. You can see there you can get some interesting relative armour thickness with the tank by angling it on that small on the small part here between the turret and the hull. However, you couldn't play this to side scrape. You would die all day long. As you can see, the tracks are also quite exposed, so I would run 2 repair kits in this because you do not want to get caught out in the open in this thing, because you will get HEs thrown at you all day long and die very quickly and very painfully. So why is this tank such a dog? Why do I hate it so much? Well, it has basically heavy tank speed, medium tank armor, it's slow, it has average alpha, it has just a average reload speed. It's in a medium tank, which is almost impossible to play as a medium because you can't do things that medium tanks should do. You cannot really go out and spot or scout. You cannot really move around the map so well because you've got heavy tank speed, and it's just a dog of a thing. And I really just don't like this tank at all. I hate playing it. I'm going to show you a game now in it, and I actually get a mastery badge in it, because I want to show you what you can do with a tank, but really there isn't a whole lot. I mean, it says here, tactics for this tank. I mean, long range sniping, yes. Circle death, no. Brawl, no, because you get into a brawl in this thing, it's so unmaneuverable that it's really difficult to get it to brawl as you would in a normal medium tank. Anyway, let's have a look at the gameplay. This is actually from a couple of months ago, but it's after 5.5, so the characteristics remain the same. And the reason it's from a couple of months ago is because I just hate playing this thing. So I'm going to go left, try to spot. Now you'll see just how slow this thing is. Everything else just leaves it behind. So really you're kind of moving like a heavy tank. You're not, I mean, like here I am just doing over 30 kilometers an hour. Moving up to try to get to the hill. I mean, you can see, I mean, it's okay, look, it is a bit better than a heavy tank, but really, I mean, especially a KV-1 or something like that, but you know, there are some heavy tanks that are almost as mobile as it. And you can see, like, trying to get up here to spot, everything gets up here ahead of me. T28 drives up my bum, which is not very helpful when you're trying to stay out of trouble. But you can see, like, the maneuverability of this tank. You can see here when I'm trying to traverse, get around, it just feels clunky, heavy, awkward. The gun is actually not bad. It's the same gun as the Chinu, but as I said, the problem is it lacks that the gun depression that the Chi-Nu has, which is really good. So when you're on top of a hill like this, you find it difficult to put shots in because you've only got 6.5 compared to 10 degrees of gun depression in Chi-Nu. I don't really know why they did this, because this tank doesn't really have much going for it. Now, they did give it one fantastic feature, and that's its credit coefficient. It has the second highest credit coefficient in Blitz after the Angry Connor. It's 228% credit coefficient, so it will earn you credits all day long. But really, that is its only redeeming factor in my opinion. I think it is just a dog of a tank, and it's not a medium tank, and you can't really employ it as a standard medium tank because you're too slow. It's too cumbersome. It's not agile enough. I mean, like, if you go up a hill in this thing, literally it is like you might as well get out and walk. It is just so slow, and therefore, you know, trying to spot or get into positions or flank in this thing is very difficult. So it's very difficult to play as a medium tank. You can sit at the back and snipe in it, but then, you know, if you want to do that, just play a tank destroyer. You don't need this thing. And a tank destroyer would have higher alpha rolls and probably a better reload and a better gun. So, you know, this tank is just not, I just don't see its point at all. And I think it's disgraceful that Wargaming actually charge people money for this. Now, I got this one out of the crate, thankfully. That's the first time I ever got a big pile of poo out of a crate. But it's just a dreadful thing. And the best thing to do is just drive it off a cliff, as I did in one of my previous reviews of the Shinobi before update 5.5. So I just think, you know, if you get it in a crate, fine, you know, you can play it to earn credits. If it comes up for sale, under no circumstances whatsoever, unless you really just want to have a different tank in your garage, should you buy this thing, because it is just a dog. Just an awful tank in my opinion. Now, you know, people say there's no such thing as bad tanks, it's just bad players. I disagree with that. There are some bad tanks, of course. A lot of them are in the Japanese line, by the way, like the tier 7 Chi-Ri, and this thing as well is awful. And the Chi-To is not really a great tank either, I have to say. And actually the Type 61 is also not great, because it's, and what I mean by they're not great is they're inferior to their peers, that's what I mean. Now, you know, anytime you say, sometimes in the forums that, hey, there's no such, you know, this tank is terrible, you know, people say, oh no, you're terrible, get good, and you see these comments, like nonsense comments from man-children. There are some bad tanks, and of course some tanks are worse than other tanks. Of course there are. That's just the way it is. If all the tanks were the same, it wouldn't matter what tank you had, right? You could just drive out in anything. All tanks have different characteristics. You see just how slow this thing is. I mean, look, it's like it's moving in slow motion, right? It's just dog of a thing. So, you know, there are some bad tanks, and, you know, people say, oh no, it's just you. Well, you saw there in a game, I think I'm Super Unicum in this thing, and there's a mastery game, right? Almost 2.2k damage, and a bit of a carry from me as well. So it's not that I can't play it or I don't know what to do with it. I do, and that's why I actually say that it's dreadful. I think it's an awful yoke, and really the best thing you do is just drive it off a cliff. But if you do get it in a container or whatever, keep it, because as I said, it's the second best credit earner in Blitz, and you will earn a lot of credits with it. But if it comes up for sale, I wouldn't buy it at all, because you'll find it extremely frustrating. But again, as always, that is just Armoured Pants' opinion. It's just my opinion. You feel free to disagree, of course. Now, just to recap, in my opinion, of course, this is much worse than its Techline brother. And to be honest with you, that's not a great start to begin with. And you're just going downhill from there. The gun is good, though, I have to say. It's accurate, reliable, but average rolls. You saw there in the game that it can make some nice shots, though. I would use supercharged and refined gun. You need to get that muzzle velocity up to make your shots count. 75mm has decent pen, but you'll need Pramo, especially if you're up tiered. You're gonna need Pramo to pen those big heavies. It handles like a dog. It's just truly awful. And if you do have it, or you do win it, drive it up a hill and see what happens. Drive it up a hill in May and Ruins, and honestly, get out and walk quicker. 6.5 degrees of gun depression is worse than the Chi-Nu, and takes away one of the key tactics of playing the Chi-Nu, really, which is just going hull down. The extra hit points versus the Chino, they're 710 versus 640, of course, which you would hope and expect that from a premium tank. Has a faster reload too, 7 seconds versus 7.92 seconds. So that is a slight advantage too, of course. And believe me, this thing needs all the advantages it can get. But of course, that faster reload doesn't really help if you can't go hold down and just show that skinny turret and fire down into the enemy. The fast reload's not really going to help that much at all, is it? Now, credit coefficient is 228%, as I said, 228%, which is the second highest in Blitz after the Angry Connor, which is also a tier 5. And this is really fantastic, and this, in my opinion, is really the only redeeming characteristic of this tank. So, anyway, hope you found it useful, hope it was enjoyable. Not such a good messenger now, but I guess I should be honest, and I believe in being honest with you. So I guess all that remains to say is cheers Mush, and thanks for watching, and pants off.